sure you want to until you can turn back. You don't know where I've been.
Welcome, everybody, to Stuff It, a fantasy basketball podcast brought to you, as always, by FanDuel, part of the Old Man Squad, part of the Believe Network. Please follow me, follow my guest, Alex Barutha, follow Old Man Squad. I know a lot of you are probably at the end of your season and potentially it's over already. If you're in enough leagues like I am, you usually make it through to the final of at least one of them. But I was bundled out in a couple last week, sadly. Alex, how are your leagues going?
Pretty good. I mean, I would say my most important league, which is our 15-team auction league at RotoWire, I am in second place. Although I did just lose Tyrese Maxey. But really in that league, it matters to be in the top half more than it does to win. Because we do this, we get together for a steak dinner every year at the end, and the bottom half of the league pays for the top half of the league.
Yep.
And people, they love a free steak dinner. And they love wine, so they will punish you for not making the top half.
So, how if there's 15 teams, where's the split there? Is it like what is bottom half? 7, 8, and if there's 8, who does the 8th person buy for?
I think the way we do it is we have if it's an odd number of teams, we do it where the middle team or teams pay for themselves.
Right.
Yeah, that kind of a thing.
Okay. All right. All right, well, so we'll get into the questions. There's already quite a lot sitting in here. I'm assuming most people are going to be asking questions about this week for playoffs. Some obviously Roto leagues still going, but playoffs are sort of front of mind at the moment.
Us 2% of people that love to play in Roto leagues.
Yeah, I'm not in any Roto leagues this year. So I do have a couple of my leagues do go right to the end though. They're not leagues that I commission. Otherwise, they would have ended by now. But yeah, I think I've still got three playoff matchups going. So we'll see how they go this week. All right, first question. My matchup projects to be close in steals, field goal percentage, and points, plus a very slight lead in rebounds. I don't know if I should play for field goal percentage and rebounds. Pick up Wendell Carter Jr. off waiver wire tomorrow, Gafford, Rob Williams, or Oso Ighodaro. Oh, this is a long question. Or I play for steals with Keon Ellis, Drew Smith. I have Nick Clifford, but his field goal percentage drag has been bad, so I don't know if it's worth holding for steals. All right, so let's process all of this. Okay, so close in those categories. I will say that I wouldn't bother picking up Drew Smith. I know he can get some steals, but they're getting players back. Norm Powell is back. Tyler Hero is thereabouts as well. And so he's just not playing. I don't even think he played in their last game. So I wouldn't bother too much with him. I will say generally speaking, like field goal percentage and rebounds are strongly correlated. So there's a pretty good chance like you pick up one of these centers and it's going to help you in two categories. Yeah, but it would be harder for you to like pick up a steals guy that's also good in points who isn't going to damage your field goal percentage. Yeah. A lot of the guys that you would be picking up for steals won't help you anywhere else at this point. Like Keon Ellis, yes, he'll get some steals. He's not too bad for blocks as well, but the points are really hit or miss. He could give you 15, he could give you 2. So yeah, as you said, picking up someone like Wendell Carter Jr., Rob Williams, they're going to help you in multiple categories: field goal percentage, rebounds, blocks. Well, blocks, not necessarily. Wendell Carter Jr., not an elite shot blocker. I guess maybe just a broader topic. Oso Ighodaro, who we sort of, I know we've been talking about the fact that the Suns have 5 games this week and that he is someone you should possibly prioritize as a pickup, but he has been pretty bad over the last couple of weeks. Are we still viewing him as someone that you have to roster with 5 games this week?
I'm not going to call him a must roster player, but he's still a good streamer. I mean, if you're talking about 5 games, you know, there's a really good chance you're going to get you might get 40 points, 25 rebounds, 12, 15 assists, something like that. Not to mention 5 or 6 blocks potentially. In terms of just like volume, I think you look at what he's done recently. multiply that by 5 and compare that to some of the other guys on your roster. And if he's going to be more startable than some of those guys, like he's still worth streaming.
And I do think we could probably view what he has been doing over the last week as a flaw for him. I think there is some scope there for him to be better, because we saw that earlier even 2-3 weeks ago before Mark Williams went down with the injury. I thought Ighodaro was playing quite well. So, good point there on the quantity over quality. I suppose we want to talk about it in that respect. Here is the team that he has: 9-cat, punting, assists, and threes. Shea, Booker, Dunn, Mikhail, OG, Bizelis, Mather, and Najee Marshall, Nick Clifford, Wemby, Bam, Ware, Diabate, and Peyton Watson on the injury report. Yeah, look, I'd be okay here picking up someone like a Wendell Carter Jr. Rob Williams, I do like what he's been doing, but he's been ruled out for tonight now. That's just popped up. So it's just injury management, but we know that's the case with him. Gafford is not necessarily playing every game either. So it'd be Wendell Carter Jr. or Ighodaro for me would be the two pickups there. And as you said, it's how many games do the Magic have this week? Do they have 4?
Orlando has 4. They have a back-to-back today, tomorrow, and then they play Thursday, Saturday. But they also have another back-to-back Monday, Tuesday, like next Monday, Tuesday, if you're looking for like a medium-term ad. Yeah,
okay.
He could bleed into next week.
Yeah, so 6 games in 9 days for the Magic, which is probably the same as Ighodaro. I would assume if they've got 5 this week, they would probably open up next week with 1 game in 3 days. So also 6 in 9. So if you're looking at it a little bit beyond this week, then maybe you do go with Wendell. And I would go with Wendell Carter Jr. If we're just comparing the two of them, I would go with Wendell Carter Jr. So see what works for you. Check the volume on those days as well, because maybe there's a night when Ighodaro is not in your best 8 players and you wouldn't be playing him anyway. So
this is a week it's a really dense week. I mean, we have 2 teams with 5 games. Nobody has 2 games. So, if you break the schedule down, there are only 2 days this week that have fewer than 7 games. And that's Friday. The Suns don't play. And that's Sunday where the Suns do play.
Okay.
So it's a good week in theory for streaming a lot of guys, but in practice, it's like Friday and Sunday are your best chances to stream somebody in.
Yep. Okay. All right. Another long one. 10-team 9-cat roto. My team needs blocks. I'm looking to add Rob Williams and or Kalkbrenner. My droppable players: Jarris Walker, Diabate, Hartenstein, Grayson Allen. Is Paul George an ad for free throws? As I said, Rob Williams has been ruled out tonight. So just keep that in mind if you're looking at him. Kalkbrenner, I don't know. I feel like he's been okay, but he's the backup. He's not playing more than about 15 minutes.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, he's just behind Diabate at this point.
Yeah. Would we drop any of those players? I mean, Grayson Allen obviously is probably the standout there in terms of he doesn't block shots at all. The other 3 have some upside on that end of the floor, although Hartenstein's not a great shot blocker. Who would I drop? I mean, it would come down for me in a roto league, and Alex, you're in a roto league, I'm not, but it would come down to what categories don't you need production in. So, for example, if points and threes, if you are sort of locked into wherever you sit in the standings or your first, you may not need Grayson Allen, so maybe you can move on from him. Is that a fair sort of assessment there?
It is. Yeah, I mean, someone's going to scoop. I mean, no matter who you drop here, someone will pick one of these guys up because these guys are pretty much must-roster players, in my opinion. But yeah, in a roto league, like you got to kind of get down into the spreadsheet of it to some extent. And, like you might not be in first in your category. You may not be first in assists or something, let's say. But you might be it might be impossible for you to fall like lower than 5 or, whatever. Like you alluded to, you might be locked in. At which point, if you only have a week or 2 left in your league, do whatever you need to do to attack the stats that you need to get. So, I mean, in theory, you maybe drop Hartenstein for Kalkbrenner, just because Hartenstein has been missing a lot of time. And they're sort of overlap players. I wouldn't want to, but I would, if I had to drop somebody in this case, it would be Hartenstein, I think.
And I think of these players, his minutes ceiling is probably the lowest. I think all like Grayson Allen, Musa Diabate, Jarris Walker will all play over 30 minutes most nights, or Allen will be close to. Where Hartenstein, the Thunder can limit him to 20, 22, 23. They don't need to play him 28, 30 minutes. So, I think that's a fair call there. Shining Knight, with Reyno's value going down soon with Cardwell returning, are there any good silly season centers for the 4-punt build? Claxton on waivers, but I don't think he's worth it. Look, the return of Cardwell, I think, will impact Reyno. In saying that, though, Reyno, I think, has played really well since Cardwell went down. I think he stepped up as the starting center, and I'm not sure whether Cardwell comes in and takes that starting role. Predicting what the Kings are going to do is it's a fool's errand. Like, there's no point trying to do that. But any silly season centers for you? Anyone that jumps off the page as maybe we haven't talked about, or who could step into a larger role in the next week or two?
I do a little. Rob Williams, who we mentioned before, is not a bad name if he's on your waiver wire. I mean, he's getting rested tonight, which is not great. But in general, Rob Williams has been pretty healthy. I think it's been at least a month or two since he's missed 2 games in a row, which for him is like a miracle. It's always possible. Mitchell Robinson could be on your waiver wire. His health is always a question, obviously, but he's not rostered in that many leagues. Someone that I would probably be looking at. We mentioned Kalkbrenner. I think that's totally fine to look at if you have to. Big Jalen Williams, if we assume Hartenstein's going to be resting some games.
Yep.
There's a handful of guys who I think, if you're just looking for the specific big man stats, they're out there.
Yeah, I think they are. As you said, Rob Williams has been really good when he's on the floor and has been healthy, playing 20 minutes. So he would be someone I'd be looking at. I don't know. I guess, again, trying to project rotations, but possibly someone like Julian Reese or Juju Reese in Washington there, because Alex Sarr, we have no idea if he's going to play the season out. And we saw a couple of games of Reese there where he put up some intriguing numbers. So he'd be someone to keep an eye on. I wouldn't necessarily go and add him now because Sarr is healthy as far as Sarr is out tonight. So there you go. So Sarr is out. So
Vucevic. Maybe Vucevic is on your wire.
Maybe Vucevic is there. Yeah. So both of those guys. Embiid, I think he's due back or potentially due back soon, but Adem Bona could certainly be someone if the Sixers just continue to sort of falter, and maybe they do lean into him a little bit more. So there are some options there. As for now, though, I'd be probably just holding Reyno at least for another couple of games. And he also has Huff, who I can replace.
Huff's been pretty good.
He's been okay. I will say Claxton, in terms of him being available on waivers, would you run out and add Claxton? Because I don't think I would. I just don't think he's playing enough.
He has not been very good. Hasn't been playing enough minutes. You mentioned it. It's been a really rough 6 games. I think he'll be better. The past 6 games he's played, he's shooting 40% from the field, which he'll get back to something better than that. But he just hasn't been that good overall. Like, you want to take last month, last 90 days. I don't know if he's must roster.
I would imagine, and I know these guys are professionals. I would imagine, though, it's hard to get motivated when you're just constantly losing. I know it's all, look, you're getting paid, you go out, you do a job, but it must be tough to be on a team that just loses year after year after year. It can't be fun, can it?
No, I think that does. That's sort of the stuff that we can't always quantify,
No.
But when you see a guy's minutes just trending down and his production's down and the team is bad, it's very rarely is he. I don't think in March he's going to be playing 38 minutes a game and putting up triple doubles.
No. And just having played, I mean, you play basketball, but going into a game basically expecting to lose, it's not fun. Like that competitive element in you, and all of these guys, I mean, to make it to the NBA, you have to be super competitive and super driven and motivated. But to then for 3 years to just expect to lose, that it can't be good for your mental health.
It's like when you know, there are different levels of like recreational basketball leagues, and if you accidentally, you're like, oh, we could join the one league or the A league, you know, let's give it a shot. And then after like 3 games, you're like, oh, we really have to do this for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I'm sure,
yeah,
you know,
right.
a few games left. You're like, oh, okay, we're just phoning this in.
All right. Am I cooked? In my finals week, facing the number 1 seed that has Wemby and Chet, I have Jokic, Kawhi, Tatum, LeBron, DeJounte, Giddey, but will Kawhi and Murray miss most games this week? Kawhi, I think he's out tonight.
He's out or doubtful. He's out officially.
He's out. Yeah. Okay. So, and that was an ankle injury. Yeah. Look, I would say there's a chance Kawhi misses at least 2 or 3 games this week. As for DeJounte,
they have a back-to-back Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay. So he probably won't play in both of those. But other than that, I think he should play. So I would assume he plays most of his games this week.
He's questionable tonight with an illness.
Oh, he's got an illness. Okay. The opponent has Wemby and Chet. Look, I will say both of those players are playing really well. Wemby did miss a game last week, though, due to ankle soreness. So possibly, again, maybe he misses a game this week.
Yeah. They play Sacramento on the second night of a back-to-back tomorrow. That could be a rest spot. And then on Saturday, they play Indiana, another potential rest spot. I would have, if I'm projecting him to miss any game, it's tomorrow against the Kings for rest.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, that could certainly happen. And then, OKC also have a back-to-back with one against Brooklyn. So Chet could miss that game as well. So, yeah, look, on paper, maybe with Kawhi and Tatum's not playing back-to-backs, although the Celtics don't have a back-to-back. They have 4 games this week, but they don't have a back-to-back. So possibly Tatum plays all 4, although he did miss a random game against the Thunder last week. So this time of year, you will look at your roster and go, oh, I've got all these missed guys, and have a look at your opponent and go, oh, he's healthy. That's not necessarily the case, as we've seen. So I won't say you're cooked. I'll say that let's wait and see. It'd be interesting next week. Let us know how you went, but I wouldn't give up just yet. Look, for example, I won a semi-final matchup yesterday because I streamed in, and I can't even remember his name. That's how, where is he?
It's like LJ Cryer or something.
Blake Hinson. So I streamed in Blake Hinson, and he hit 2 threes, and I won by 1 3-pointer. So
that's awesome.
Never give up. Never give up at this time of year. Championship week, the 4-punt build. I need to drop 2 players to stream from the following list. All right, who are we dropping here to open up 2 streaming spots? Dyson, Asar, OG, Wemby, Gobert, Klingon, Melton, Santos, Saar, Cater, Precious, Clifford, Jalen Smith, and Derek Jones Jr. Let's go to the schedule.
Yeah, okay, don't drop Wemby. I'll jump in here and say, do not drop Wembanyama.
No, I wouldn't drop Wemby. I wouldn't drop Gobert. I wouldn't drop Klingon. It would be possibly Melton because they have a back-to-back this week, so he will probably only play 3 games. Alex Saar is already out for tonight, so that means you will probably only get, and they have another back-to-back at the end of the week, so you probably only get 3 games of Alex Saar, who is only playing about 22 to 24 minutes a night at the moment. So he may be a drop. Cater, no. Precious, no. What have the Bulls got?
Yeah, Jalen Smith. I think Jalen Smith's interesting because he came back. He's played pretty well. the past 3 games. I mean, not great field goal percentage wise, but he grabbed some boards and had like a nice scoring game the other night against the Lakers. He is going to play tonight, but how often is he going to play more than 3 games in a row ever the rest of the season? There's always some risk of him missing more time. And then as much as I like Derrick Jones Jr., and I think we all like the idea of Derrick Jones Jr., he's kind of like a roto guy. Or if you need like defensive stats, you know, he's never going to have these big scoring outbursts. He's kind of just like a steals and blocks guy who occasionally can give you points. Now Kawhi's going to miss tonight's game. So there's always some like, well, he could continue playing well, and he has been playing well. But to me, if you're targeting steals and blocks, I would not drop him. But if you're targeting some other stats, I would think about it.
I know in this case that Hitty Minnie is targeting steals and blocks because I know the punt build. So, but Jalen Smith, as you said, the Bulls only play 3 games this week. One of them is a back-to-back, and they don't have any games Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So
that's good.
He certainly be a drop because you may, likely only get 2 games out of him this week. And in your build, he's not an elite shot blocker. He does sometimes chime in with some blocks, but I think for me it would be Jalen Smith and then maybe it's DeAnthony Melton, just because I think he is only going to play 3 games as well this week. So yeah, I think that's probably the way I'd go. What do we got? All right, another 4 punt big man build. I wonder how managers have actually gone, because that was a build I did a lot this season, and I've already won 2 leagues using that build, but I was also eliminated in a couple. So 4-man punt build, 4 punt big man and steals build. Was wondering if you knew any good streamers, people that would likely be available in a 12-man league. Look, we've talked about a lot of them, I think. Some of those centers like Rob Williams, Tristan Vukcevic, Keon Ellis might be available. He's been playing minutes for the Cavs. Conchar would have been a good one, but he's still out, I think. Where is he? John Conchar. Yeah, I think he's still out.
He's out. As far as we know. I mean, he didn't play last night, and we don't have an updated injury report yet for him.
Yeah, okay. Look, I will say someone that's been getting steals, if he might be available, is Justin Edwards for the Sixers.
Good call.
He's been playing well. Cody Williams somehow is playing well at the moment. So they don't necessarily fit the build, but they're just playing enough that they're going to get stats. So there's plenty of options out there, I think. Okay, so we talked about Oso Ighodaro and whether he is a hold or a drop, and you sort of said with the 5 games, it's tough to drop him. Would you drop him or hold him through this back-to-back, so the Monday, Tuesday back-to-back, and then or drop him for Javon Small? Javon Small is another silly season winner. He's been playing well. Very different. This just comes down to stats for me. Like, what categories do you need?
I agree, but if you're thinking about Javon Small, if he fits your build, if you're in a points league, if you're in a whatever, I would just pick up Javon Small. Like, if you're asking me to just blindly sort of label Javon Small, I'm calling him a must roster guy.
Yeah,
he's been so good. So I wouldn't take the risk of someone else picking him up.
Yeah, I agree. He's even with guys sort of cycling in and out. We've got Ty Jerome who's in and out and that sort of thing. Small is still playing enough to be held and rostered everywhere, I think. So yeah, I think that's the correct call. What have we got? Does Kawhi play this week? I don't know. Gut feel for me is, what's their schedule?
They play tonight against the Spurs. He's out. Then they have a back-to-back Wednesday, Thursday, both against the Pelicans. Then they play again Saturday.
Yeah, okay. So that's interesting because isn't the Clippers pick going to New Orleans this season? Is that... am I right in remembering that?
Let me try to get this quick. Goes to OKC.
Oh, goes to OKC. So where do maybe the Pelicans just don't have their own pick either.
The Pelicans pick goes to Atlanta.
Okay, it goes to Atlanta.
Or the how does this work? Or it goes to Milwaukee. I can't remember. The Bucks
they don't have it anyway. They don't have their pick. So neither of these teams have their pick. So because the Pelicans, I guess where I'm going with that is I'm looking at the schedule and wondering whether Kawhi will play against the Pelicans. A back-to-back road trip. That's a weird two games in 2 nights in New Orleans. That's strange. Look, I would say at most you get 1 game out of him.
Yeah, and if you look, I mean, some of this too is like looking at the Western Conference standings. They're 8th right now. There's no way they're getting to 6th. No. Like they are not going to avoid the play-in tournament, and they can't fall out of the play-in tournament either. They can't get below 10. So they're not like truly locked into their seed, but they're absolutely locked into the play-in tournament. So I think there is a chance that Kawhi's out tonight, and then they can just probably rest him on the back-to-back and then play him on the following night against Dallas. My assumption, if you ask me to assume what the most likely scenario is, it's probably that.
Yep. All right, we've got a starred comment. Are we dropping Hart for Koulibaly in Washington or John Collins? If not, who? So first question, I guess, are we dropping Josh Hart? He played last night, pretty sure.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, 7, 12, and 5 in 31 minutes.
The Knicks have 3 games this week. So they play oh, God, what an easy week. They play the Pacers, the Nets, and the Wizards. So 3 very winnable games for the Knicks. Does that mean they potentially try to get a bit of rest for some of these players? Maybe. I mean, Josh Hart has been dealing with some niggles, some injuries over the last little bit. So maybe they do rest him. I don't think they'll rest him for all of them or anything like that. They give him a break. I'm pretty sure Jalen Brunson has been downgraded to questionable for tomorrow's game. So maybe they're going to give him a night off. They'll give Hart a night off. They might give OG a night off somewhere. So I think we probably get at least 2 games from Josh Hart. Would we drop him for Koulibaly? Koulibaly's an interesting one. So he obviously plays for the Wizards, who have 5 games this week.
Yeah.
He's pretty much played in every game over the last month. So do you think that Koulibaly plays 5 games this week?
I think it's pretty possible. Yeah, I think somebody asked me this, and he's played in 7 back-to-backs this year. He's played recently in back-to-backs, March 2nd, March 3rd, February 19th, and February 20th. I would have a really hard time dropping Josh Hart. His numbers have been like okay, but someone I would still prefer to roster. But honestly, like if it's going to be close for you in your playoffs this week, win or go home scenario, it might be worth it to drop Hart for Koulibaly. I wouldn't necessarily want to, but total stats wise, I would think Koulibaly actually ends up with more total stats.
Yeah, I think so. Again, you'd have a look at your schedule and see if Koulibaly is going to be in your best 8, 9 players to whether he'll actually be active on those nights. But yeah, I think 5 games of Koulibaly is probably worth it. As you said, I wouldn't want to drop Josh Hart in most situations. He's just too good to drop. But 5 games compared to potentially 2 games of Josh Hart, I would do that. For John Collins, I don't think I would. I don't think I'd drop Josh Hart for John Collins. They do have a back-to-back, as we said, the Clippers this week. Collins has been dealing with a neck injury, so maybe they do rest him on one of those games. So
I could see that happening, especially if they're already going to sit Kawhi. They could just punt those games. Yeah, that'd be my worry.
All right, where did we get up to? Oh, man, there's so many questions. We're not going to get to all these questions.
A lot of people still alive in their fantasy playoff.
I know. It's good. It's good. All right. Okay, that's where we're up to. All right. Finals week, 1 pickup left. Punting points, 3 assists. Okay, so punting guards. My worst players are Clifford, Miles Turner, and Diabate. Best waiver options are Rob Williams, Wendell Carter, and Mitch Robb. Use the move now? ? Yeah, I wouldn't drop Clifford just because I think he's playing a lot of minutes. He's doing stuff. I'm pretty confident he'll continue to play that role. Miles Turner. So he's been downgraded to questionable with a calf injury.
Yeah.
Would you have any three of those players over Miles Turner? You're our resident Bucks fan. So what do you think there?
Is the only player Wendell Carter's healthy, right?
Yep.
I mean, Carter might be the only player on this list. I mean, first of all, I would not drop Diabate at all. Carter might be the only guy on this list who could play 4 games, which I think matters. And I think I would drop Miles Turner for Wendell Carter.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, as you said, 4 games of Carter and Turner questionable tomorrow. They also play Utah. So even if he plays tomorrow, do they rest him against Utah? Maybe. So, yeah, I'd certainly be okay doing that.
If I was Miles Turner and I had a calf injury and the Bucks told me to get on a plane and go to Utah, I'd be like, no, not happening.
I slept in. I just, sorry, I missed the plane. Okay, general question. Thoughts on Leonard Miller? He's been pretty good. Plays for the Bulls.
That's about as good of a way to put it. Well, the thing about Leonard Miller is like to give some context, because I'm sure there are people who are like, who is Leonard Miller?
Who is Leonard Miller? Yeah.
The Timberwolves drafted him in the second round in 2023. He was one of those guys who was like all potential. Like he was a raw athlete. I think he was from the wasn't he from the G League Ignite, if I'm not mistaken? Maybe I might be confusing him with someone else.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I do remember him coming in as an upside, kind of your game translates quite well to fantasy, but are you actually going to get minutes? And that hasn't happened until now.
Right. And so he was sort of projected as like this for sure defensive monster, rebounds, blocks, steals, and then the offense was like, who knows? So my general thoughts on Leonard Miller is if he's going to continue to play 30 minutes a game, he will be worth adding for people who need rebounds, blocks, and steals. He's good enough at those things. So I don't have a question about that.
Yep. And you can see that even just looking at the last week to 2 weeks. The last 3 games he's had, the scoring's been okay. He's been at 17, 15, and 14 points, so that's fine. But he's had 11, 9, and 8 rebounds, 4 steals, only 1 block. But the blocks, they tend to come and go with some of these younger players. So he could play tonight and have 0 steals and 3 blocks or something like that. So, yeah, I agree. I do think I've got him in at least one of my active leagues, and not really considering dropping him at this point. Okay, how quick should I get off Ighodaro and Julian Champagny? Held them for schedule, but guys like AJ Mitchell, Quentin Grimes, and Sadiq Bey are on the wire.
Wow. Right. Sadiq Bey? I would be dropping Julian Champagny for Sadiq Bey like immediately.
Yeah.
Bey's had 2 bad games. I don't care. He's really good.
Yeah, and they've got 4 games this week, the Pelicans. So, yeah, I know we've got 5 games of the Wizards. That doesn't mean we get 5 games of Champagny. And even if he does play 5 games, he's only playing 20 minutes a game.
I think I think it's Julian. So it's the guy on the Spurs.
Oh, Julian.
Unless one of us, it's possible. No, it's possible between the 3 of us, the guy asking the question of both of us, that we're all talking about different Champagnes, a third Champagny that none of us are actually aware of. But
it could be, but it actually doesn't matter to me. I'd drop either of the Champagnes in this situation to get Sadiq Bey. Quentin Grimes has been really good with Tyrese Maxey out. They only have 3 games this week, but 3 games of, I think it probably is with the opportunity that he's got. AJ Mitchell, I'm not as sold on. He has been good. He's been impressive. But with only 3 games for the Thunder and they also play Brooklyn and Washington. Do they maybe give AJ Mitchell a night off? He's coming off an injury himself, so he may rest against Brooklyn.
I think, I shouldn't have buried the lead in terms of like Grimes. Grimes should probably be the number one priority add, followed by Bay and then Mitchell.
Yeah, I think so. All right. Yo Joe, though. I'm facing someone who has Luka, Reeves, KD, and Dyson with 4 games each. Kind of scared. How can I combat against this? Streaming. If you're just purely looking to build up your games played count. But like we've said, just because teams have 4 games at this time of year does not mean they are going to play all 4 games. I know Luka and Reeves, KD, like none of these guys have missed games to this point. But that doesn't mean they won't. Dyson Daniels did miss a game last week, I think, with I can't remember what the injury was, but I know he missed 1 game.
It was a toe injury.
Yeah, so possibly he only plays 3 this week. The other 3 guys, look, they probably do play all 4, but how do you combat it? Look, there's not much you can do. I mean, your roster is what your roster is, so you just stream if you can. I don't know, any general strategies from you?
I mean, I'm trying to think of like combine what these players are weakest at, but then it totally matters what that guy's streaming too. I mean, because if I was rostering Luka and KD, to me those guys are so good at everything that my punt's totally determined by who else is on my roster.
Yeah.
So maybe he's vulnerable in blocks. I mean, KD's not a bad shot blocker, but it's possible.
Yeah. Miles is just more Miles Turner. Just generally speaking, is he a drop? I think he is for the right person.
Yeah, I mean the person who needs to hold Miles Turner is the person who needs the combination of blocks and threes.
Yep.
Which almost nobody who's punting is looking for that combination because it's a negatively correlated combination of stats. So it's like if you're in a roto league and you happen to need those stats, like I did in my roto league, like I tried to trade for Miles Turner at some point and someone turned me down. They're lost.
They're lost. Yeah, you're weird.
Like, yeah, I'm totally fine dropping him.
Yeah. And what about Mikal Bridges? So he's been pretty rough the last little bit. He's had a good year. If you look at his stats for the year, it's been a good season. But over the last month, he's outside the top 130 in 9 cat leagues. The scoring, I mean, this slump has to turn around, doesn't it? Surely.
I think so, but really what's concerning is just like the volume is so low. Which, I mean, that could also certainly turn around. I'm not saying it won't. Someone asked me on Twitter today if they should drop Mikal Bridges. I think I told them they could depending who's on their wire. I mean,
yeah,
because it has been bad. The volume, the efficiency.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, this question came from the same person. So in answer to this question, I would drop Miles Turner before I drop Mikal Bridges. And if you want to give Mikal Bridges another game, they play the Pacers tomorrow, then Brooklyn and Washington to close out the week. So maybe you play him tomorrow and then maybe then you move off him. But Miles Turner would be a clear drop over someone like Mikal Bridges. Matt Carmody, in my semifinals, would we drop GG Jackson to stream Will Riley, Jalen Smith, or DeAnthony Melton? 12-team Yahoo points, blocks, and steals are 2 points.
Yeah, the thing about Jackson, he's doubtful for today's game because of a foot injury, and he missed the previous game against Detroit due to the foot injury, which was a few days ago, actually. So even with some time off, it doesn't seem like he's going to be playing. I mean, he isn't going to play today. He's doubtful. He's so good, though. Like, to me, he's a clear must-roster guy. It'd be really hard for me to drop him, even with the injury, even with the schedule advantage that, like, Washington has with 5 games. I don't know. Would you try to preemptively drop Jackson, or is it just too much of a risk?
Yeah, so they have 4 games. So he won't play. We're assuming he won't play against the Bulls tonight. They've then got the Nuggets, and then Friday, Saturday, they have a back-to-back against Boston and Charlotte. So even if he comes back against the Nuggets, I doubt he plays in both games of the back-to-back. So you maybe get 2 games of GG Jackson this week as opposed to... I mean, Riley, if we're being honest, Riley is probably going to play 5 games.
I think he will.
Whether he does a lot, but again, is this a situation where you add up his stats over 5 games and work out whether that is better than 2 games of GG Jackson? Jalen Smith, likewise, I think he probably plays 3 games or 2 games this week. Sorry, we said they're on a back-to-back. So I wouldn't be adding him. Melton, I might. They play 4 times. He'll play 3 games of Melton, 2 games of GG Jackson. It's a semi-final. As you said, GG is probably a must-roster player. He is the one must-roster player here, but you have to make some tough calls. So if you're just looking to get bodies on the floor, then I'd consider dropping him for not for Jalen Smith, but maybe Riley or Melton.
Yeah, Melton's been banged up lately too, you know, so... And Golden State, similar to kind of what we were talking about with the Clippers, like they're so locked into their position. I mean, they're not rushing Steph Curry back, anything like that. So they're probably not going to extend Melton. Yeah, man, this is a really tough call. How much are they pushing GG Jackson with a foot injury? Probably not that much. Let's put it this way. I can't like in good faith full throat recommend dropping Jackson for Riley, but I would not blame you if you did.
Yeah. All right. Thoughts on holding Andrew Nembhard for this week? 10-team head-to-head points league. The championship game used 1 pickup already and added Bilal and dropped Kuz, Milwaukee legend Kyle Kuzma. Yeah. Would we hold Andrew Nembhard? Okay, Pacers.
They play 3 times and have a back-to-back Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, so he won't play both games. Although he did randomly play a back-to-back, I feel like a week ago, but then missed a game that wasn't a back-to-back.
He played 12. He played March 12th and 13th, and then missed yesterday against Milwaukee. Yeah. But he hasn't played 3. He hasn't played more than 3 consecutive games since February 2nd. Okay. And then backwards a couple games.
All right. So let's assume he only plays 2 games of Andrew Nembhard. I'd be okay dropping him in a 10-team points league, I think.
I think so too. I mean, if you want to just take his last 12 appearances as a sample, it's 33 fantasy points, which is someone who I would consider like just on the surface per game must roster, but you're only going to get like best case scenario getting 60 fantasy points.
Yeah.
Which you could stream someone in who's going to play 3 times and average 20 and get the same thing. Yeah. So I think he's.
Yep. We've talked about Josh Hart. Do we think Walter Clayton will play today? I think he's upgraded to questionable.
He is questionable.
Yes. Questionable.
Yeah.
Will he have an impact on Small? Yeah, probably. Not to the point where I'm dropping Javon Small or making any moves in that direction. Walter Clayton, I thought, looked pretty good before his injury, but there's just so many players. There's Ryan Rupert, Cam Spencer, Jemima Shack, Jalen Wells, Ty Jerome. They've got about 8 or 9 guards that they're just sort of cycling through. So I think there's a chance he plays today, but I would still have Small over him if we're looking at who would we prefer to roster.
I mean, there are only 3 players who have appeared in each of the last 5 games for Memphis, and it's Jemai Meshack, Javon Small, and Prosper. Those are the only 3 guys. So he could impact Javon Small, but I'm not dropping Javon Small.
Okay, interesting one. So I'm on a bye week, so congratulations if you are on a bye week. Was fortunate enough to get a hold of Grimes during last week. But by next week, we may see George and Embiid return. Will Grimes remain rosterable in a 10-team league? When's Paul George back? Because he obviously has a very specific return date. And I feel like we're maybe 4 games away, 5 games away.
I believe it's the 25th that he can come back.
Okay. Yeah, so 4 or 5 games. Okay, so 25th. So that will put us, 16th? So that'll put us probably second game of next week, something like that. Embiid is getting closer. What's the latest on Embiid?
Timeline TBD is what we got.
Thank you.
And we know, I mean, and it's an oblique, right? And the thing we don't remember, I mean, we've seen a lot of these injuries actually the past 2 or 3 seasons. And it's just the timetable. It could be months. They said he's progressing and has returned to basketball activities, which is like cool. Like dribbling and shooting is basketball activities. I mean,
that's
just
right.
Doesn't mean anything. Yeah.
No. Look, I would say absolutely hold Grimes here. I wouldn't be moving off him preemptively in the hope that we're going to get these guys back and Grimes falls out. Because remember, Maxey is gone. He won't play this week or next week. So Grimes will at least have a bigger role because he is not there. Embiid is not going to come back in and play starter level minutes. I mean, it took him that long to get back up to starter level minutes. They're not going to do it again. Paul George, his conditioning might be a little bit. I mean, he should come back in and play a pretty sizable role, but I would be holding Grimes at the moment. I wouldn't be. If you've got the week off, just monitor things in Philadelphia. But I think I'd be holding if I could.
I agree.
Yeah. Who's droppable between these players for my finals? Dante DiVincenzo, Tamani Kamara, Asar Thompson, Musa Diabate. I'm punting field goal percentage, blocks, and soft punt on turnovers, but the rebounds. Okay. I don't know. Kamara, maybe.
Yeah, he's been pretty underwhelming in general. And I mean, I know you're punting blocks, so he's in theory more valuable to you than he might be someone else, but by how much, really?
Yeah. I'll go. If you need a SAR because of the rebounds and the steals, then I'd be okay holding him. Although in saying that, you're punting blocks, you're punting field goal percentage. They are 2 of Asar Thompson's stronger categories. But his rebounds do help. His out of position rebounds. So I think I'd probably go Kamara there. What's that one? No, we've done Kawhi. Is Justin Champagny good for this week? I'm running a 4-category punt. Now, this is the Washington Champagny. I've just checked.
Yes.
I do get them. Is he worth in the 4? No, I don't think so. They play 5 games this week. He might play 3 or 4. But like I said, I mean, what's he playing? 17 minutes, 18 minutes a game?
He's been really stat stuffing in those minutes. Like, I will say that. I'm with you that it's like, it's not going to be that good, but this is some high level stat stuffing from Champagny in the limited minutes. He did play a back-to-back March 2nd, March 3rd. But yeah, on a 5-game week, you never know. If I was adding Champagny, I would assume he was going to play 4.
Yeah.
Which it might be worth depending on your punt. I mean, you're a lot more knowledgeable about this punt than I am.
Yeah, look, I mean, he is good for defensive stats. He can get steals and blocks. His efficiency is usually okay as well. Doesn't hit a lot of threes, but that may not matter to you. And he is a good rebounder. So if you're going to get, if we say 4 games, you might get 80 minutes of Champagny, which that might be worthwhile to you. I would potentially say if you've got him, depending on your settings and streaming ability, they have this back-to-back. So even if you just hold him for these first 2 nights and then reevaluate, maybe you can move off him then. But I'd be okay holding him just for the first 2. But then make a call. Jaden McDaniels, is he droppable? 10-team 9-cat finals this week. I can't have a bad week from him. He was being woeful. And we have seen this from him throughout his career. He has patches where he just vanishes. We thought he'd sort of eliminated that from his game. He had found some consistency and he's just reverted back in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Jacob McDaniels is suddenly a 46% 3-point shooter dream has kind of fallen by the wayside. It's just he has been one of those guys. It's like ultimate deep league 14 teamer the past few seasons. Just hang on. But now this year, he again, like you said, we thought he had broken through it. Now all the regression is coming at once in the playoffs when people need him. Very annoying.
Yeah, in a 10-team league, I'd probably be okay moving on from him. I think I do think he gets better. He'll figure something out. He'll have a good game at some point. Does it come this week? Maybe. And I can almost guarantee you, if you drop him, someone will pick him up because of who he is. If I was in a 10-team league, I'd go, oh yeah, I'll take a chance on this guy. But yeah, he's just been so bad. So I think if you want to move on, that's okay. Is Jalen Williams? If Jalen Williams is back this week, is he worth playing? Same for Peyton Watson. I don't think we have any. I mean, I know the Thunder are very strange with their injury reporting. They just don't report anything, and then someone's available. So he could return in the next game. He could return in 2 weeks. We have no idea. I would say, what's there? I would say no to Jalen Williams, even if he is back, partly because of their schedule. For Peyton Watson, I think the latest was that they're hoping he's back this week. Is that right?
Hopeful that he will be able to play at some point this week is pretty much the exact phrasing that they used. Okay. They do have a Tuesday, Wednesday back-to-back. Let me ask you this, because I feel like I also get a lot of Peyton Watson questions on the podcast, live shows, whatever that I do. I am not convinced he's going to be like really worth the ad, or like he's fine to have in your IL depending on who else is there, but the whole team is healthy. Like, I don't know what role and shot attempts and usage are going to be available for him compared to what we saw before he got hurt.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I've talked about it as well, that I'm not convinced that he comes back in and plays 30 minutes a night. I don't think that was the plan coming into the season. It was out of necessity that they sort of had to play him in that role. And look, I mean, he was great in that role. He certainly turned things around and proved a lot of people wrong. But it was without Aaron Gordon. It was without Christian Brown. They just had no other option other than to play him 32, 34, 36 minutes. So, no, I have questioned whether he will be a must-roster player. I mean, coming into the season, he probably wasn't drafted in most leagues. He was sort of seen as a 22-minute-a-night player who has some upside in defensive stats. The scoring came out of nowhere. So I'm not going that far back to where I don't think he's rosterable, but coming off an injury like this, he's going to be limited. He's probably not going to play back-to-back. So, yeah, I don't think you have to prioritize Peyton Watson at all at the moment. All right, I have Justin Edwards rostered, but Precious is on the wire. Should I, 1, make the swap today, 2, stream someone today, pick up Precious tomorrow, or keep Justin Edwards?
First of all, this is kind of a tough question because I am confused that Precious Achiuwa is available. So then I wonder, maybe you can wait because clearly people don't think. That's insane to me. That's all I'm going to say. That's insane to me. He's 37 fantasy points a game over the past 13 games.
Yeah.
I don't think I would drop Justin Edwards for Achiuwa like immediately. I don't think I would take the risk of Achiuwa going to somebody else. He's too good.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Justin Edwards has been really good as well, but the path to minutes for him next week could get bumpy with, as we said, with Embiid potentially coming back and Paul George coming back. Precious's role is not going anywhere. This is his role for the rest of the season. So I would just be making the swap. Neither of them play tonight. They both play tomorrow night. So, yeah, look, you could, I mean, I don't know what platform you're using, but I think you could certainly drop Justin Edwards, stream someone in for tonight, and then as soon as the game starts, drop that player and pick up Precious Achiuwa. I know Yahoo has some funny things about that. They won't let you drop a player who is active until a cut-off time, sort of at the end of the day. So that would depend. But, yeah, I would be prioritising Precious over Edwards. Looking to pick up someone in Denver for the Tuesday, Wednesday back-to-back. Hardaway, Cam Johnson, Brown, all available. Who would I swap out of Danny Wolf, Brandon Williams, Trey Jones, Leonard Miller? Leo Miller. I like calling him Leo, actually. Leo Miller.
That does have a ring to it. Brown
Right,
has been better, and Cam Johnson has been better. So I honestly don't have like a huge preference. If it's a points league, I would probably go with Cam Johnson or Christian Brown, because Hardaway I think is mostly just like a threes guy.
Yeah.
Out of that group, probably Leonard Miller I would let go. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I like Johnson and Brown would be my targets there. Hardaway's really hit or miss. He'll give you 30 points one night, but then he might only give you 6 the next night. So he just doesn't do anything other than points and threes. So I'll go Cam Johnson and Brown. Who would I drop? Yeah, it might be Miller. Brandon Williams is the other one, because I just don't... They're not playing him a lot of minutes. He is playing, and he's playing well, but he's not playing starter level minutes. For whatever reason, they just don't want to run him as the starting point guard. They pretty much go with anyone else. So his last 6 games, he's had 24, 21, 28, 17, 19, and 19 minutes. So he might be the one. He's been productive during that time, but I think Trey Jones, Leonard Miller, and Danny Wolf have a path to more minutes than him. So he might be the drop. Or yeah, as you said, Leonard Miller. And I'd go with Johnson, I think. All right, let's start to wrap this thing up, because we're at about an hour. Thank you, Matt Carmody. Yeah, Blake Hinson. He's no longer on my roster, I will say that. He made a brief cameo yesterday, and he hit 2 threes, and now he's gone. Sit one tonight, Najee, Pritchard, Dyson. Probably depends on your stats that you need a little bit.
I would probably sit Najee.
I think it's probably Najee. I know he was better yesterday, but he's where's the box scores for tonight? Is PJ Washington playing tonight?
Pritchard, yeah, Washington is playing.
Yeah, okay.
Pritchard's annoying just because he'll give you like 0 and then 12. I mean, Najee's kind of the same way sometimes, but I think it would definitely start Dyson, and then it's a little more of a coin flip.
Yeah. If you Najee can do a little bit more. Pritchard is sort of he's points and threes, some assists. That's about it. But yeah, I would be starting Dyson. Oh, and he had Buzelis there as well. No, I'd be starting Buzelis.
Oh yeah.
Drop Walter Clayton for Leonard Miller. I'd do that.
Sure. Yeah, I mean he's fine, but
yeah,
he's not that good.
Just dropped Siakam for PJ Washington. Yeah, I think that's fine. Siakam has missed games with a wrist injury. Who knows? So, yeah, that's fine. Worried about Giannis missing multiple games this week. The injury didn't look good. You would have seen it, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah, he's technically questionable for Tuesday.
I know. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it looked like it would have hurt. But, I mean, if you remember back, what was it the year they won it, where he he injured his knee and looked like he was going to be out for weeks, and he missed 2 games or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very similar injury too from memory. It was a hyperextension.
Yep.
Something like that. Yeah. Okay. So I hope he plays because I have him in a few leagues. So it would be nice. All right. Let's do one more. Yeah. All right. Let's finish with the Wizards. Of the Wizards players, Koulibaly and Riley, the best options. Yes. They're the only 2 that I trust to play all 5 games.
Yes. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. Bub?
Maybe Bub. Yeah.
I mean, I think like Bub and Trey Johnson there's a good chance those guys play all 5 games, but I don't think they'll get the amount of minutes that Riley and Koulibaly will get. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, let's go with those guys. All right, we are just over the 1 hour mark. I do need to go and do some work, so I'll let Alex get out of here as well and have some dinner or whatever you're doing. No college basketball tonight. I had a look. I couldn't see any on.
No, it starts. When does it start? The 19th or the 18th? Couple days. Yeah.
All right, couple of days. All right, that's one of the good things about working from home. I can have college basketball on in the background, but not for a couple of days. So I'll go and watch NBA. All right. Thank you, Alex, for jumping on. Late notice. It's normally Kieran but he was unavailable for some reason. I don't know, something going on.
I think he was just burning some vacation days, honestly.
Yeah, maybe.
And I don't blame him this time of year. I'm always like, well, if I want to take a vacation, March and April, let everybody else handle it.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Appreciate you. Appreciate everyone tuning in and for all the questions. Glad to see so many people still alive in their fantasy leagues. So hopefully that means if you are following any of us or listening to our stuff, we've helped you get to this point in the season. So good luck this week. I will be back tomorrow. I'll be doing another mailbag, trying to do one most mornings at the moment because there's a lot of movement, a lot of player shuffling and things going on. So hopefully back tomorrow. But good luck. Enjoy the basketball tonight. He is Alex Barutha. I am Adam King. This has been Stuff It, a fantasy basketball podcast. We are done.
You don't know where I've been, what's going on inside, where the monsters like to come alive, come alive.